Hey guys, it's AndrewT, and in this video I'll be showing you 5 mistakes that are gatekeeping you from reaching the next level. Most are easily applicable, but some will require you to dig deep into your mind and overcome mental barriers. Picking the same ledge option is something most newer players do, but the reason you aren't getting off the ledge is because of your ledge timing. If you find yourself being reset to the ledge over and over, look at the opponent's positioning and movement to use against them. By choosing the same ledge timing every time, your opponent only has to cover which option you pick. If you choose a slightly different timing, then you can catch your opponent off guard and find a free get up to reset neutral. If an opponent, for example, commits to a dash to reposition, that is a cue to use to time your get up. Another example is if a character does a combo to get you off stage, if you can get up before they reposition, they have to guess quickly and risk overextending if they want to keep you off stage. Another strong factor when choosing a ledge timing is how well can your opponent's character hit you while you're ledge hanging. If they have to move forward to hit you from their position, then choose to wait as long as it takes to get them to be antsy, and then choose an option to get past and reset neutral. Obviously these are just some ideas, and the situation won't be the same every time, but these are just some strategies to use ledge timing to your advantage. If you notice yourself choose the defensive option after every move that you do up close, then this needs to change. It's important to know your frame data and know if your moves are safe or not, because if you choose a defensive option after using a safe move, you completely lose the advantage of being in a shield pressure scenario. Examples of things you could do instead are jumping, doing a burst option, or even just repositioning. One concept that rarely gets recognized is keeping the lead. This is generally strong for zoners or characters that are good at punishing approaches, but the concept also works against these characters very well, as those characters tend to have weak approach options. Keeping the lead generally implies prioritizing keeping a percent lead or a stock lead. It is a skill that needs to be practiced because it doesn't just mean pick a defensive option, it also implies stuffing approaches, changing timings, not doing panic options, and using movement to your advantage. Once you have honed this skill, getting the lead now becomes your priority. And when it all comes together, you now have a game plan that makes it easier to see how you can win. Doing moves immediately out of hit stun is something that will get taken advantage of by players who have their combo game down. The most blatant example of this is when getting juggled. Players often use an aerial to get out of the tumble state because it allows you to fast fall more quickly. When you do this, it leads to cooldown frames that your opponent can take advantage of by just resetting the juggle situation, forcing that same interaction. This also applies in combos. Typically characters with fast aerials that hit all around them will do this every time. A good example of how this will get taken advantage of is Fox using up tilt strings. They know that the next up tilt won't be true, so they'll flash their shield in between to parry the aggressive options out of hit stun. Not holding L's is something that every player goes through in their own ways. Immediate emotions like anger and sadness often rise in the moment, but that's okay. Competition is typically associated with pride and the idea that you are better than the other person. It may work for some, but thinking like this in competitive Smash can be detrimental to your results. One recommendation that I have before you play is to accept that the present time is part of the process and should be looked at as a learning experience. It's okay to let yourself feel the emotions when you lose, especially at first, but just keep reminding yourself that this experience is something to learn from. When you have a growth mindset going into competing, it alleviates a ton of pressure and stress so that you can play at your best without worrying about the outcome. So when you play, yes, the goal is to win objectively, but your goal is to play your best, so that your mistakes that you can learn from are only from your flaws as a player, and not from any outside the game factors.